Please welcome Paige O'Hara and Robby Benson. And this is whatever you'd like. Tell a few stories, take questions from the audience.
Awesome.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Well, thanks for coming out here. This is wonderful.
Yes.
I have not been to Pittsburgh for 30 years. And the last time I was here, I was playing Evita at the Pittsburgh CLO.
Wow.
Yeah. It was great to be back.
Yeah, well, welcome.
Thank you.
You want to get right to the questions? That's always a good thing.
Of course.
Robby, this is your first time in here, right?
Where, at Steel City or in Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
No, I was here. I did a movie called One on One.
Oh, that's
And when we used to do movies, we would go to all the cities. There wasn't satellite feeds. You would go to the city and you would do publicity. And this was like 40-something years ago. And I fell in love with Pittsburgh, actually. I want to take, I don't know if it's still there, please forgive me, but you know, on the side of the hill, that is
the incline.
I want to take my wife on that.
Yeah, the incline.
So
That one-on-one movie, he was the basketball player. He can really play.
Thank
he can
you.
seriously play. In fact, you made the courtside free throw thing, right? That
yeah,
in front of Michael Jordan?
Yes. What happened was I was at a Chicago Bulls game. I was doing a movie with Burt Reynolds, and the Chicago Bulls found out. It was after one-on-one, and Michael Jordan said, "Will you come out and do an honorary jump ball?" And I thought, gee, an honorary jump ball, really? How about an honorary shot? And he goes, "You're kidding me. You want to do that?" And I said, I really do. And so
Steph Curry, look out, man.
well, no, it's actually kind of funny. I got the ball, and they just introduced all of the players, and the place was going crazy with cheers. And then they introduced me, and people started booing.
I don't know that part of the story.
Yeah. So I thought, okay. He's going to take an honorary free throw. And I thought, oh, no, I'm going to take an honorary three-point shot. And I nailed it. And Michael Jordan came over to me, and he hugged me and slapped me on the butt. And I thought, well, that's really, really cool. About 10 years ago, I called them, and I said, do you guys have footage of that? Because, back in the day, we didn't, you don't
we never
think
had
that way.
We didn't do that, yeah.
And then when you have children, so I thought, do you have footage of that? And they went, that was so long ago. We don't have that footage anymore. So now it's just a story in our family.
Aww. But it's a good story, isn't it? It is.
That's great. Let's get to some questions from the audience. We'll start on this side. Anybody got a question? Raise their hand. Around. Right down the front.
Hi there. When you watch the movie, is there any kind of mannerism that you say, oh my God, that's me all the time?
There are several. Of course, it starts with the hair and the face, which, when you see the footage that they took, I actually did my hair up for the day, but when I really recorded, I was in a baseball cap and I had hair in my face. And so I would do this a lot, and they, of course, put that in. But a lot of the eye expressions and the eyebrow, there's so many things. Put it this way, when my sisters saw the movie, they started laughing in the opening scene. It was like, oh my gosh, Paige, it's you up there. It's nuts. So, and Robby, well, what's really cool about The Beast is that the only thing that's human in the beginning is the eyes. They never change the eyes, but you could tell them all your other.
Yeah, my temper.
I didn't know if he was going to say it, but
and a sense of humor. I just thought, man, if you can have an honest sense of humor, it makes something so much more poignant and funny. So I kept trying things, and I would hear them laugh on the other side of the glass.
In the booth, yeah.
And they allowed me to try
tell them
things.
about your ad lib when you're getting your bath. The
Oh,
Beast.
which one? Stupid?
Yeah.
Stupid. Yeah. But,
Of course, he did one take on that, and they said that's in the. We're writing that in the script now. That's going in there. So.
No. Yeah, but there's a lot of us. They videotape us.
Yes.
And this is how foolish I was, if you want to know the truth. When I first started, I was working, and when I work, I kind of lose myself. I go into another dimension, and then I saw this video camera, and I said, well, why is there a video camera here? Can you turn that off? and they said, no, that's for the animators. And I, sorry, guys. So that was very new for me. All the other animation things that I had done before weren't like that at all.
Like Prince Valiant.
Right.
I got to do a Princess Alita with him. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was more like a radio show.
It was. We just stood there in a line and did our stuff. Yeah.
Okay. We've got another question for you right here.
Hello, Paige and Robby. It's so wonderful to have you both with us.
Oh, thank you.
Well, before I get to my two-part question, I just want to say I want to thank you both for being a part of Beauty and the Beast. It's one of my childhood favorites of all time, and I want to thank you both from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So my two-part question for you both is this. How did you both manage to get your start in the acting business prior to being cast in the role of Belle and the Beast? And what would you both say is your favorite moment of all time doing Beauty and the Beast, along with your fondest memories of Howard Ashman, Jerry Orbach, and David Ogden Stiers?
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Well, the favorite moment was when we recorded the songs in New York with the live orchestra, which was basically the New York Philharmonic, and working one-on-one with Howard, and he was coaching me, and he kept trying. He was really happy, except for the one Quiet Village. He wanted to do this little thing with that. I couldn't get it at the beginning, but working with him, and then of course I idolized Angela Lansbury. When I went to New York, I was 17. And I saw her 6 times in Gypsy as Mama Rose. And, of course, getting to work with her. She came in and had been shooting a film in another state and was up all night because of the problems with the plane, had not had any sleep. And she said, I'm going to record anyway. And they said, Angela, why don't we'll record tomorrow. Go get some sleep. She says, no, I want to do it. So she went in and she sang Beauty and the Beast. There wasn't a dry eye in the place. And it was in one take. So what you see in the film was what she did after being up all night. And I realize that now, I'm now the same age as she was when she recorded Mrs. Potts. Isn't that weird, the whole circle, I think my favorite thing recording, that was one, but I also, when Robby and I got to record together, which was, I kind of started that. They don't normally allow that because it takes a lot more time and is really expensive because, the feed can get messed up or whatever. But they allowed Robby and I to record together, and I think that's what made the relationship work and have multi-dimensions to it.
Yeah, I actually second both of those. The most magical part for me was the day we were in New York and worked with the Philharmonic. And also working with you live together. I mean, that was wonderful.
It was one of those things where I met Robby and I felt like I knew him my whole life. It was just, it's amazing. And I was so fortunate because I'd never done film. And Robby was, not only a great film actor, but director and writer. And he brought out the best in me as Belle. And I don't think that could have happened if it weren't for you. Unless maybe my husband over there, but oddly enough, my husband played the Beast in the Broadway version. It's all in the family. So.
Question
Over here, we've got a
back
question
there.
right here.
Okay, a question and a compliment for Mr. Benson.
Yes.
Did you ever hurt your throat while voicing the Beast?
Yes. The way that we would do it is I would do my lines, in the first part of each recording session, and then I would do all of, the big lines and the roars and get out, things like that.
That was good.
It's good.
I would do those. I would do those at the end of the session, and then
I would not be there. I would leave the room.
and then I would heal and come back in a few weeks and continue the work.
A lot of honey water, that's for sure.
Okay, and I just want to say, I think that the Beast has got to be the greatest animated character, animation-wise, for Disney, based on his emotion. Like, he's not human, but he shows so much emotion, like anger, happiness, sadness, joy, guilt, etc.
Yes,
He's just so wonderfully animated to show character.
I think that animators like Glenn Keane, everyone who worked on the movie were extraordinary. I mean, our performances are just a part of a puzzle, and the animators made up a huge part of that puzzle. So I agree with you. I think it's remarkable what they did.
Yeah, it's kind of like that we share the character with the animator.
Absolutely, yeah.
And also the director. And there's a lot of Howard Ashman in both of our characters as well.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah. And question right over here.
High school crush, I'm sorry, but used to read those Tiger Beats. I loved Ice Castles.
Thank you.
But my question for you is, so your voice of that roar is so unique. I mean, how did you come up with that whole idea and that ability to do that? Or is that stuff you've done all along?
It's interesting. I've always been involved in one way or another as kind of a recording engineer. I love music, so I do a lot of music. And my wife, Carla DeVito,
Yay.
yeah. So what happened was a lot of this is mic technique, and when I first auditioned, I heard all these people, trying to blow out the mic and stuff, and to me, the Beast was a real character, and I know that sounds ridiculous. Somehow I identify with the Beast. But when there are these times where you just get close to the mic, it's Belle, are you happy here with me? And it's just down here. And and it's I don't know, it's not a gimmick. It's very real to me. So
There's a background story on that. They could not find anyone for the Beast that they were happy with. And I started recording a month before they found Robby. And when I remember the day they came in and said, "We found the Beast. He is the real deal." And oh boy, you are the real deal. You are. People they underestimate Robby's vocal ability. I mean, he's a great singer as well. I mean, he's still singing with his wife. And he and Carla met each other doing Pirates of Penzance on Broadway. She was the leading lady, replaced Linda Ronstadt. And so that's kind of a cool love story, but we'll talk about that later. That's a whole nother chapter.
All right, we've got another question for you right here.
This one's for Robby. Whenever you had to do this scene fighting Gaston, how many times did that take?
which one? Which scene?
The end of the scene when you're fighting Gaston.
Oh, that's interesting because that script-wise, when you watch that, you're seeing continuity. When we record that, they bring out our script pages. They tell us exactly how they see it, which changes from session to session. But on the page, it'll say, you get hit here, and then I would go, okay, I'd make some strange noises, and then they would go, try that again, and I would do like 3, 4, 5 in a row of really bizarre sounds. But you're not self-conscious. When you're alone in a room, and and actually, I don't see very well, which is such a wonderful thing when you're an actor. Because what happens is that it's like having blinders on if you're a horse, and you just are in your own world. So suddenly you feel like you're being killed, and these sounds come out of you, and you know, I did tons of the most bizarre sounds. So I think what was hardest was the actual death when we were together.
Yeah.
That was, and by the time we did it wasn't difficult.
No.
It was just emotional.
It was.
Yeah. I mean, it was real. I don't know how to explain that, you know, because I know how weird that sounds, but it was very real. It felt very real.
I have a question to your right, on the other side of the room.
What was your favorite part and the funniest part?
Your favorite part and the funniest part.
Our favorite part and the funniest part.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my God. Do you have an hour? I don't know. Well, Robby made me laugh all the time because he was constantly ad-libbing, and Linda Wolverton, who wrote it, loved it. And she said, "Oh, you're making my script even better," because you thought funny. He thinks funny. So I don't know. I think I love the fight scene when I'm fighting with him and tell him to hold still. Hold still. No, you're like, that was fun. I enjoyed that scene. What else what would you say?
I don't know. Maybe after they fixed me up and they said, "How do you look?" You know, and I'm stupid. You know that. But I don't know. There was just or eating. So I'm not sure if there was anything that was supposed to be there when I was eating, and I thought, you know, he should be. You know,
I do remember that. That's
Yeah.
a good one. That's in the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a question right up front here.
Yes, Mr. Benson, I was wondering, what was your experience like acting opposite and being directed by Paul Newman in Harry and Son?
Yeah, thanks. Paul, he was an exceptional human being. He wasn't like, you think of Paul Newman and you think of the ultimate star and his staying power and who he was and what he represented. In my experience, I've met a few of those kinds of people, and it's why we don't live in Hollywood. Paul's completely different. Paul was the most wonderful, caring, compassionate man, also with an incredible sense of humor. When we did, he loved to play jokes. He loved pranks. And of course, you know, I did too, but he's Paul Newman, you know. And there's this scene at the end where he passes away and I go in and I kiss him. And he spent like 30 minutes while they were setting up putting ice on his lips so that when I kissed him, it was freezing. And he also did something else. So there's this baby. There's this baby in the movie that Ellen Barkin and I have. And we're on the beach, and this is the credits in the movie. And we're on the beach, and he's about 150 yards away as a director. And on our little blanket is a walkie-talkie so that we can hear the direction. And he asked me to do something because we had a real baby, but we also, for some of these shots, we were using a doll. And he asked me, when on a certain cue, if I would get up and throw the doll in the ocean. I did. And he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I will tell you that half the crew did not think that was funny. But he was one of the greatest guys you'd ever want to meet. Ever. Yeah. You bet.
We got a question over here to your left.
Hey, first off, I played when my high school did Beauty and the Beast. I was Maurice. Most expensive, elaborate production that my high school ever did.
Awesome.
My question is, since you guys both had theater backgrounds and still do, and you say your husband was on Broadway, was there ever an attempt by either the producers or by you guys to actually be on the live production of it?
Actually, Jeffrey Katzenberg called me and said, if you want to do this, it's yours. I'll try and make that happen. And I had already signed a contract to go play Nellie in South Pacific in Australia for a 14-month tour. And I also was pretty much known as the Oscar Hammerstein girl. I mean, I played all the parts, and that was one I hadn't played yet. And I actually wanted to fulfill my contract. And I felt, actually, at that time, I was a little old to play Belle on stage. I mean, I could have pulled it off.
Yes, you could.
But I really didn't want to. It kind of stood for what it was, and I wanted to go and do my thing in Australia. And I got to really enjoy Susan's performance in it many times, because my husband got to play opposite Susan Egan in that. And that was really kind of cool. And I'm glad I made that decision. I think it was the right one.
Yeah. Mr. Katzenberg was very kind and called me as well. And asked me if I would like to do it. But I like him a lot. He's not like a lot of executives who I don't care for. But he's a great guy. He really is smart, really smart, very creative. But he kind of told me two things that made me think, God, this is not for me. And I've already done it. The first thing is he told me that I'd have to wear this head that weighed, I don't know how many pounds, Mike? How many? 60 pounds. 60 pounds. And I thought...
That's why Michael had backaches all the time.
Yeah. I didn't think that was really for me. But then he also said something, because this was Disney's first attempt at Broadway.
Right.
And he said, and we're probably going to end up doing like 3 or 4 shows a day. And I said, Jeffrey, there's a union. You can't do that. We do 8 shows a week. This is not like Disney World, And I literally had this kind of argument with him because he thought they would redefine Broadway or something. But immediately I thought, well, that's just, good luck. And thank you.
But the other thing Jeffrey did that was really cool, though, was he put together a surprise birthday party for Michael Eisner at the Waldorf, because Michael was saying no to the Broadway idea. And he said, we're going to pull a little surprise on him. You and Richard White are going to sing with the orchestra, and we're going to do a mini version of Beauty and the Beast, in concert for his birthday. And that was the night he told Jeffrey, yes, we're going to do it. So I'm glad for the theater that happened.
Well, I don't know about you. I know for me, and I think I know this is the same for you, but when I got involved and I read the script and I heard the music, I turned to Carla and I said, this is a Broadway show.
It is.
And I think that's why we also played the scenes the way we did. Because
absolutely.
And
it's interesting. All of the leading characters were all Broadway actors. Every single one of them. And, of course, Howard and Alan, two of the greatest ever to write a musical. So that was really cool. But the cool thing Jeffrey did was that when the Oscars came about and we were nominated for the songs, they wanted pop singers to do our songs. And he said, if you don't use Paige and Richard singing their songs, because it was the Belle song, then you can't have the songs. So we got to sing on the Oscars because he said no to them. So I was really happy about that. It was a big deal for me, I tell you.
He's a good guy.
He is.
He's a good man.
I have a question off to your right. We got time for about 3 more questions.
Okay. Hi, I'm so glad you guys are here. I just wanted to find out if there's you've done so much across voicing and theater and movies, if there's one character or story that you would like to bring to life, whether it's been done or something you've read or seen, who the character would be, and would you want to do it in theater, movie, or animated or live action?
Well, I don't really think in those terms of. What I do is I can't stop creating. You know, I'm always writing something, and there are many, many things inside of me that I've written 2 books. I write a lot of songs. And I wrote a Broadway. I wrote a show that went to New York, and actually made it to New York, called Open Heart. And so there's a lot that I feel that's unfinished for me that I really need to get out of my system. But most of it is very solitary work. But if I were to come out of my house again to work, I'd want it to be in the theater. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I miss the theater. I do. I've chosen to follow the path as a Disney fine artist. I'm now signed with them as an artist, and so I paint. And I can paint from my home and everything else. And I kind of just gave up the singing for a while to focus on my painting. But I've always wanted to play Auntie Mame in the musical Mame, which Angela Lansbury created. And I played it in high school, but it's not the same. But Mame is very much, my mother was like living with Auntie Mame. My mom was so much like her that I just play my mother, and it would be a piece of cake. That would be fun. And also Jerry Herman was a dear friend of mine who wrote that beautiful show. So I might do that still. I think I could still do that one in my 60s. She can be any age.
All right, we've got a question for you back here on the left-hand side. Stand up in your chair.
How old were you guys when you first started shooting movies?
When you first started doing music?
First started shooting movies.
Oh, go ahead.
Wow.
You were a baby.
Yeah, I was really young. I was an extra in movies when I was 8 years old, because I got to get out of school. And that was so much fun to me, that you not only got to get out of school, but there was this table that had donuts on it. And it was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. And then I saw Oliver on Broadway, and and that changed my life. I just went, gosh, I can do that. I want to do that. And the next thing I knew, I was in Oliver. And when I was 12 years old, I was actually co-starring on Broadway in a drama, in a play, with Ed Begley and Lily Escala, called Zelda.
That's right.
And then when I was 14...
Was it the Rothschilds?
I was in the Rothschilds.
Right.
As Solomon Rothschild. So... you got a career, baby.
Well, for me, I started studying and doing theater when I was about 8 years old. And then I went to a performing arts high school. And the extra thing, I had quite an education on Lenny, the set of Lenny with Dustin Hoffman and Bob Fosse directing at 14. And it was an R movie. And my mom, I can't believe she let me do it. That's the Auntie Mame in her. She said, I'm not going to let you see the movie, though, when it comes out. But I went to New York, and I started working in the theater in the mid '70s, late '70s. So, and it's been ever since.
I just got to tell you one quick thing. So, my bubby, a lot of people, that's my grandmother, if you're Jewish. My bubby wanted to take me to a movie when I was a little boy in Dallas, Texas, and she said, "Let's go to a Western," and we went to Midnight Cowboy.
I love your grandmother. That's funny.
Right,
That's funny.
We've got a question for you right back here.
Hi, I'm a big fan of both of you. And I'm one of the few that actually still have it on VHS. Paige mentioned about the Oscars. You guys were the first ever animated picture to be nominated for Best Picture. And you just, because of you, is because they have the other category, but how was it like for you both to be recognized in that way?
Well, it's wonderful because it'll always be the only animated film to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture, as they change the category, and that keeps it special and one of a kind. And I think it's bittersweet, but it's a special gift to Howard. He passed away before the film came out, but I think he appreciated that from heaven. I think he saw exactly what happened.
And we have a kind of a beautiful Academy Award gift. My son Zephyr was born right around the Academy Awards.
It was that night.
Yeah.
That's why you weren't there. His baby was being born that night.
Yeah, so, we kind of got our own statue, our living statue. He's an amazing young man.
Google him. He's really talented like his dad.
Okay, we have one more question. You guys are headed back to your table to sign and a photo op a little later on, am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So keep that in mind, though. We're headed back to their table. If you didn't have time to ask a question, I'm sure they'd love to hang out with you. Let's get one good one.
Right back here.
I just wanted to say that I think you guys are both down to earth, and I just want to say that's really cool. And my question is, do you guys keep in touch with the other characters from Beauty and the Beast?
Well, Angela, we were through Don Hahn is how I keep in touch with, and of course we've lost some of our dear friends in it. But we're going to be doing a GalaxyCon on April 16th online. You guys can check it out. It's for free, and it's going to be Robby and myself and Richard White, who's Gaston, and Jesse Cordy, who's the LeFou. So that'll be fun. Yeah. And we try and keep in touch. And of course the princesses, myself, Jodie Benson, and Irene Bedard, and Linda Larkin, we're in touch all the time. It's like the princess thing going on. We're constantly, leaning on each other for support and hearing the stories, what the kids are doing, and all of that. It's all good.
The princes don't stay in touch.
They should.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. Give it up. Paige O'Hara, Robby Benson. Once again, thank you so much for coming out. It means so much.
This is John Glover, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Lionel Luther recommends it. Have some fun. Follow your fandom.